Elsewhere, Yowoon accompanies Ju to her favorite bar. She asks if he knows that place, to which the young man replies that it must be the bar she frequents. Her boss confirms that it is and that she is a regular customer. She immediately asks what's wrong, since it was he who suggested they drink together, and wonders if he ruined the interview. He replies no, that he simply felt like having a drink, something his boss understands, as she considers that there are always days like that. She doesn't know why, but sometimes she too just feels like pouring herself a drink and relaxing. Then she calls the bartender and orders 2 glasses of their best whiskey on the rocks. The man serves them what she asked for, explaining that as the ice melts, the hidden sweetness becomes more pronounced, so they can enjoy it slowly. Ju tries it and admits that the oak flavor is beautiful and rich. But unlike her, Yowoon quickly downs the whiskey, which annoys his boss, who asks him to take it easy. The young man grimaces, and upon seeing him, his boss comments that watching him like that makes her wonder what could have happened to him. She says that surely something did happen and asks him to tell her. Yowoon, a bit drunk, starts drifting into his thoughts. Ju watches him thoughtfully, then calls the bartender to bring the whole bottle of whiskey. The man asks if she doesn't plan on drinking it all that night since it's very expensive, but she replies that she'll save some for another day and that for now, he'll make a good profit. Afterwards, she calls Yowoon and with the bottle in hand asks him to drink, assuring him it will ease his work stress. The young man raises his glass and thanks her for serving him. His boss, watching him drink, asks if he wants another glass and remarks that it will surely end in disaster. After drinking the whiskey, the young man grows pensive and quickly asks his boss if she's ever felt that way, as if he doesn't feel the way he truly feels. Ju asks what he means, and Yowoon explains that he used to think he was the kind of person who never changed his mind once he made a decision, and that he didn't do things he disliked. But he admits that lately he hasn't been like that he feels strange. His boss asks if he's talking about a love story. After a brief silence, the young man answers yes. Ju wants to know why he says that, and if things haven't been going well with Hain lately. She recalls that the last time she saw him, he had a hickey on his neck, and everything seemed fine. Yowoon replies that he and Hain get along well, and that they've never fought. However, he reveals that not long ago he received a confession from a girl he once liked whom he had rejected at the time. Ju grows thoughtful and quickly asks if that person could be the regular customer who always orders hot chocolate. The young man, surprised, asks how she knew. Then his boss hits him and reveals that she's been watching romance dramas for years, and that he and that girl are not ordinary people. She asks how he felt when the girl confessed, and whether he felt attracted at that moment. The young man replies it wasn't attraction, but that he simply felt pure happiness. He confesses that he hated it when she talked to him, that it annoyed him when she suddenly appeared and acted kind. But after that confession, he felt really good. However, he later thought it was stupid and disgusting. He says he hated her for a long time, tried to forget her, and now that he likes someone else, he's starting to doubt rejecting her. He wonders if he feels this way just because he heard another confession, and thinks he must be a fool without pride. He admits that's what he thought. After hearing him out, Ju asks what he plans to do, and whether he wants to accept that confession. The young man answers with a resounding no since he really likes Hain. However, he admits that right now he feels confused with all his emotions tangled up, and he also feels a bit of self-loathing. His boss reflects and asks if he knows why she got divorced. The young man replies that she mentions it every time she drinks, recalling that it was because of a huge fight, like in a spy movie. His boss laughs and admits it's true, that he has a good memory. But then she reveals that wasn't the case. She remembers that, on an ordinary day, suddenly life seemed trivial. One weekend afternoon, they were on the couch, she watching TV and her husband playing on his phone. At that moment, she looked at him. He had a bored expression, watching a baseball game he wasn't even interested in. Then she felt lost. The days of passion were over, and all that remained were those trivial, boring routines on the couch. She says that from then on, her depression and hysteria worsened, and she became a constant burden to her husband. Eventually, she decided she couldn't go on like that and ended the marriage because she felt that if she stayed, she would ruin not only her life, but also his. Upon hearing this, Yowoon reflects that he never imagined it and never thought his boss had gone through something like that. She tells him that what she means is that he shouldn't be so carried away by emotions. It's fine to be honest, but he shouldn't get dragged into that whirlwind of feelings. He must firmly decide who he wants to be with. Yowoon watches her thoughtfully, but then his boss jokingly suggests he could have an affair and date both, bursting into laughter. This annoys the young man, who quickly replies that he doesn't want that. His boss insists, saying it's not like he's going to get married, but Yowoon remains firm that he wouldn't do it. He says he wants to be with the person he likes without worrying about anyone else. His boss looks at him with pride and, petting him like a dog, admits he's just a little innocent boy. Then she suggests they start really drinking to get rid of all their worries that night. Meanwhile, Shin Hyun-sung, Hyun's uncle, arrives. He greets Dong-chol, the bartender. The man asks what brings him there, and Hyun-sung replies that he came to invite himself for a drink, asking his friend why he's still there, since he usually goes home early to be with his wife. Dong-chol explains that today he has regular customers, and he wanted to drink something for the first time in a while, so he decided to keep the place open a little longer. Upon hearing this, Hyun-sung asks who they are and looks at the customers. He thinks for a moment and recalls that the boy is Haeun's boyfriend. He wonders what he's doing there, and even more so, accompanied by such an attractive woman. Meanwhile, Haeun checks her phone, looking thoughtful. Yowoon, a little drunk, laughs and explains how Hyun threw up on him, and that after that he had to wash his pants before dawn. His boss questions whether she has low alcohol tolerance, and the young man replies that she is not weak, but seems to be one of those who drink excessively, and that last time, the more she drank, the faster she refilled her glass. Oyuju states that if Hyun drinks with her, she will wear her out, and that they should meet someday. Yowoon quickly imagines the scene and thinks that the chemistry between his boss and Haeun is no joke. Just at that moment, the woman announces that she is going to the bathroom, something the young man acknowledges without issue. While waiting, Yowoon looks at his cell phone, revealing that he is staring at the photo Haeun sent him. He reflects that, now that he thinks about it, lately he hasn't been able to say goodbye to her by message, and that he has been so busy preparing for internship interviews and final exams that he hasn't paid attention to her. He states that he didn't even see her when she took the last train, and that he really has been very busy these days. Then someone sits next to him, and Yowoon comments that she came back very quickly. But when he looks at who it is, he realizes it's Haeun's uncle. The man asks if his name is Yowoon, and says it's been a long time since they met. The young man laughs, confirms it, and comments that he didn't expect to see him there. The man replies that the bar belongs to a friend of his. He immediately asks how things are with Haeun and how he is doing. Yowoon replies that everything is fine, and that he is fine too, although he thinks that because of what happened at Haeun's house, he feels a bit uncomfortable seeing her uncle. The man looks at him and says that he doesn't intend to meddle in his niece's private life, but he can't help asking if he is cheating on Haeun. The young man is surprised by the question, and the man says that no matter how open couples are nowadays, trust is an immutable value, and that this is rock and roll. Yowoon replies that he is absolutely right and asks why he says that all of a sudden. Hyun questions if he really doesn't know why, revealing that he saw the person he was drinking with a moment ago, before stating that she doesn't seem like just a friend. Oyuju appears and denies it, revealing with some anger that Yowoon is only a part-time worker in her cafe, where she is the owner, and that today they are just having a company dinner. Hyun, upon seeing her, asks if she is really the owner, since she doesn't seem that old. The woman replies that nowadays there are many young bosses, and asks what is so strange about that. She also says that next year she will turn 39. Hyun, surprised, asks if that is true and if she is not turning 29, reaffirming that she looks very young. Oyuju looks at him for a few seconds, then goes back to her seat and says that he should have already understood the situation. Afterwards, she asks Yowoon who that person is, and if he knows him. The young man replies that he is Hyun's uncle, that he has a music studio, and adds that he lives alone and very close by. Oyuju reacts surprised and comments that it doesn't matter, adding that he also lives alone. Right after, she asks Hyun how old he is, and the man replies that he is 38. So the two start a conversation, as Oyuju learns that Hyun is a friend of the owner and that they both played together in a band. That makes the woman question if boss Dongchul played bass, saying that she never imagined it. At that moment, Yeowoon realizes something and wonders why he is the only one left out of the conversation. He thinks he tried drinking to cheer up with his boss, but she ended up leaving him alone. He drinks a little more and says that he has already shared his worries. While looking at his drink, someone approaches with a glass of alcohol for him. The young man says he didn't order it, but Dong-chol says he is offering it to him and that he also wants to drink something with him. Right after, he asks if he said that Hyun was his friend. Yeowoon confirms, and the bartender shares that when Hain was little, she often went to his studio to talk to him. He even taught her to play bass, although for her it was a bit boring. The young man, surprised, asks if that is true, since he didn't know that Hain also knew how to play bass. Dongchul explains that she throws herself without hesitation into what she likes, although she never does anything she hates. That's why she never got into jazz, even though he wanted her to and even gave her some albums. Yeowoon reflects on the fact that Hain never hesitates when she does something she is passionate about. He starts to remember her, becoming thoughtful while drinking the glass that was given to him. Dongchul explains that the initial aroma may be strong, but that the aftertaste will be fruity. He also advises him to take his time and savor it, because he will find sweetness in the bitterness. The young man reflects on that and doesn't know if it's because he is drunk or because he doesn't understand much. But the truth is that he doesn't notice the difference. Even so, he thinks he understands what he means. He wishes to mature enough to instantly discover the truth in a complex mind. However, it is revealed that Dongchul seems to have said something wonderful and profound, but in reality, they were just words from a whiskey salesman. The next day, Yeowoon wakes up drowsy. He quickly feels a headache and, as he lifts himself a little, he wonders where he is. Looking around, he questions if this is Haen's uncle's room. He immediately gets scared upon noticing that both Haen's uncle and his boss are asleep together. Yeowoon is confused and wonders what happened last night. Then he thinks he doesn't know, and that he can't do anything anyway because of the hangover, so he should pretend to sleep until they wake up. However, while he tries, the doorbell starts ringing. Again and again, it rings so much that Yeowoon ends up waking up and wonders if it is the postman. But upon hearing the voice, Haen announces that it is her, calling her uncle. She asks if he is home and comments that the studio door is not open, also mentioning that he has a guest at 11. Yeowoon gets nervous, thinking that what is happening should not be shown. Haen, on her part, complains, saying that this is why she had told him to change the studio door for one with a lock, and asks why he doesn't even answer her messages. At that moment, the door opens and Yeowoon comes out, greeting Haen. The girl, surprised, asks why he is there. The young man replies that he went drinking last night and ended up drinking with her uncle. But then he reflects that he doesn't even remember how he ended up in that place. Curious, Haen asks if her uncle is inside. The young man replies that yes, but that he is still sleeping, and asks if he should wake him up. She says no, that she will do it herself since it is her uncle. That makes Yeowoon nervous, who asks her to wait a moment, trying to explain what she is about to find. However, the girl enters and sees the scene of her uncle, in bed with a woman. Haen quickly asks what is going on, looking at Yeowoon and wanting to know what happened, to which the young man thinks that he doesn't know either.